What's one place you've traveled to that changed the way you see life?
Probably Jamaica. They're really hard workers there, they're really nice people, but they're so different over there compared to here in Canada, but they're really sweet people.
What's one thing that surprised you most about Jamaica?
A lot of tourism there. All their jobs are tourism in Jamaica.
Did you ever live there?
Honestly, yeah, I like the weather there, so I think I would live in Jamaica.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name's Danica, I'm from Hamilton.
Welcome to my channel. Jamaica isn't just a place people visit. It is a place that completely changes the way they see life. And after watching these travelers share their experiences, it is easy to understand why so many people leave their island saying they arrived as a tourist, but went home with a completely different perspective. What really stood out to me is that almost everyone, whether they came from Canada, India, Cuba, or the UK, experienced some kind of culture shock. But it wasn't because Jamaica was strange. It was because Jamaica challenged the lifestyle they had been used to. Let's watch this combination of videos and then I'll come back with more comment. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please remember to subscribe, like, and also comment.
The biggest cultural shock that I got after I got to Kingston, Jamaica, was people here know how to enjoy. When I was in India, everyone was working hard to win the rat race or getting the next promotion, buy the bigger house or the next new car. In all of this working and hustling, we forgot how to have fun. And even the first year I was here, I did not know how to have fun. I was constantly thinking about the next blog I wanted to post or the next idea that I wanted to work on. And the first year I literally passed by, I was just constantly worrying about not having fun. It's just so wild. After some time talking to locals, meeting our friends and being here, I finally know how to have fun. That's what I love about being here is people are clear about their priorities, they have good work-life balance, and they know how to have fun and live life.
Y'all, I just got back from my first Jamaica trip, and let me tell you something I noticed as an American down in the islands. They hizza all day over there, like more than you think, 3, 4, 5 times a day. But the crazy thing is everybody was in tip-top condition. Like me personally, I can't roll up without my chest feeling tight, be struggling to breathe, just backed up with all this phlegm and mucus in my throat. I'm thinking like, yo, how do y'all blaze like this and y'all still be in amazing shape, playing soccer, running marathons, all that? So I'm in the grocery store, right? There's this bad little island gal right there. And so I step up to her like, what's up, shorty? What's the deal? I mean, she was liking my locks, of course, so I was in there. And then she just laughed and she's like, yeah, we take respiratory health very seriously. We just use mullein leaf. Now, mullein, I had never heard of it, but it turns out it's this herb that's used for centuries. It has a whole bunch of antioxidant properties that help you break down excess mucus and congestion, so you can cough it all up. She even said it's been a part of their tradition for generations. So anyway, we start walking, we start talking, she takes me over to the other aisle where they got the mullein. This is the mullein she was talking about. I snuck some of this tea in my luggage because I thought it was rare, but it turns out they sell it here in the States. It's just that nobody knows about it. So as you can see, mullein is the key ingredient, but it also has thyme, robios, ginseng, elderberry, and ginger. I started drinking a glass every morning for the remainder of my trip. Y'all, tell me why I've been coughing up weeks and months old globs of mucus. Like my chest don't even feel tight anymore. Breathing clearer than ever. I'm not snoring through the night like I usually am back home. Let me tell you, those Jamaican baddies confirmed it. I'm about to be putting everybody back home onto this tea right here. My girl even started drinking it too, so I just started getting a couple containers at a time. They sell them on the TikTok shop and they literally cost less than a bowl of Chipotle, so it's not like you gotta worry about breaking the bank. I definitely recommend you guys check this tea out because when I tell you it feels like a spa treatment for my lungs, got me breathing brand new. I'm gonna drop the link below for you guys.
So one of the things I've come to love about Jamaican culture is that, like, at first this was kind of hard, but I like it because you don't ever have to wonder where you stand with somebody that's Jamaican. Like, if they don't like you, you know. If they love you, you know. I think that's refreshing because, yeah, I mean, we want to be polite and I get that. And there's a time definitely you want to be that way, but it's also cool because like if somebody loves you or rocks with you, that it's like real, you know what I mean? It's not just polite. And so I think that's something that's really refreshing about Jamaica. So shout out for just keeping it real and leaving no room for questions, good and bad. Love y'all.
Things my Jamaican boyfriend do that I will never understand. Scratch throat.
You ready? Yeah. Okay, let's
in the next country
or travel to a next country and get a cultural shock? Tell me in the comments. Let me tell you my story about cultural shock. So the first time I come to Jamaica, that was in 2018, and I went to one party with a friend in Triple Thursdays in New Kingston, right? And at some point, like 3 a.m., people start daggering, and we see 2 persons on the floor. I dance like, now if you explain, you know what I talk about. And when it's shocked and embarrassed, I was like, why the Buffy do it in front of everybody in the club? You can't turn at them yard, do them thing in them bed, like everybody. No man, with it shock. Can you imagine when you don't know anything about dancehall, you come from a next country and you see that? Will it shock your fuck? Boy, no, Jamaica kind of broke me out a little bit, so I can't shock again.
5 cultural shocks I suffer when I moved to Jamaica from Cuba. Hi, my name is Flor. I am Cuban and I live in Jamaica for 21 years now. And up to this day, me not stop for shock over them 5 cultural things here. Number 1, food for breakfast. Me say, come morning time, me could not believe me I see where I come from, Cuba. Breakfast time is barely a little sip of coffee if you're lucky. If you are a little bit more privileged, you may have some cow's milk and maybe a little bread. Member says 21 years since me left. But this is what me remember about the Cuba I left behind. You see, when you reach a Jamaica now, me say boiled dumpling, me say liver, me say kidney, me say ackee and saltfish with dumpling and food, me say rice and peas and all that dinner and morning time. Up to this day, me not exaggerate, me not tell no lie. Me can't get over the fact that Jamaicans have a whole meal for breakfast. Number 2, manners and respect. Me don't know what was it about the Cuba me left behind, but we never did practice manners and respect. My grandmother always did tell me that manners and respect in Cuba died in 1959. You see, if you buck up on somebody, you just buck up on somebody and move. You say if it's morning time, you just wake up and move. You say if it's evening time, you just walk through and move. But you see in a Jamaica now, in a Jamaica, you better practice your manners and respect. You have to say good morning, you have to say good evening, you have to say good night. If it's a night time and you know I go asleep, you still have to say good night. If you buck up on somebody, you have to say sorry. You have to say sorry. You have to say sorry. You better say sorry. Boy, me wish Cuba will take up back manners and respect. Number 3, eating out. You see the Cuba I left behind, going to restaurants? That was not in my vocabulary. The liquor restaurant that did exist were owned by the government, and let me tell you, you don't want to name that food there. Eating out for my family was almost like a taboo because we were so afraid that we will get sick. So every time we will travel to another province for health reasons, for whatever reason it would be, we carry our own food, we carry our own liquor bottle with juice and them thing there fi eat, and you will not eat out because you don't know where them process them food, you don't know what did they in that food, and there was no guarantee that you will find food a road. But you see Jamaica now, you just go a restaurant, you don't need no special occasion, restaurant just dead. You have fast food restaurant, you have regular restaurant, you have cook shop, you have people that sell a roadside pan chicken and them thing there. A different culture this. Number 4, helper. I mean, no say everybody in Jamaica don't have no helper, but we can't deny say Jamaica has a helper culture because it's very affordable and it's very necessary. Up to this time, I don't have no helper. There's one lady that come and clean me yard once or twice per week, and that's about it. But my husband family did have the helper culture, and she always did have a problem with me. She always She never did like me because she's like, Miss, you need to sit down because I always want to wash the dishes and me always want to clean the yard and me always want to wash the clothes. And she's like, that is my job. She's one of the people them who helped me to learn English when I first moved to Jamaica. We used to sit down with her and talk to her, and we had so much in common because she come from country. And when I described my life in Cuba, it was very, very similar to her country life in Jamaica. In Cuba now, Elpa, El, that is back in the day before 1959, and even I will say maybe a little bit after 1959, people will still have helpers in their house. People were rich, and so, but after everybody don't migrate to America, or the rich people in Cuba don't go to America, that culture died. Nowadays, you do have some people who have helper, but these people who have helper is people who run Airbnb. So it's somebody that they will pay to come to the house, come clean and do all them things there. But like living helpers and nanny and all them things, me never left that in a Cuba. Me never lived that in a Cuba yet. Number 5 is transportation. In a Cuba, public transportation, taxi, have your own car. Them things they don't exist over there. So no, 21 years ago when me left, nobody could have care. Now things change a little bit. Now things change a little bit, but public transportation is still a struggle. Taxi is still a struggle and it's very expensive. I know everybody can afford taxi. So let me tell you what you are doing in Cuba. You are hitchhike. You are standing on a roadside, said you and said stop, and pray say one big truck full of a cane or whatever it is stop for you and pick you up. Other than that, a foot of hype. You see, when it comes to Jamaica now, public transportation there, taxi man there, and if you have little money, you can buy your own vehicle. Miss me dey drive in a car, go everywhere. Me come to Jamaica, go sit down in a car with my husband. Automatic vehicle, and me get this, me get car sick because me not accustomed to them fancy vehicle there. So again, better appreciate what have. Better give thanks for what have, because other people don't have it like this.
You guys, so I'm currently in Kingston, Jamaica. It's my first time here, and I just want to say skip the tours, or even if you go on the tours, make sure you go to the cinema. So that's the cinema just there. I just came out of the cinema. It's a time, okay? So there are a few culture shocks. First off, midway through the movie, the screen goes blank and they show intermission, literally a break for people to go buy things or use the toilet. I've never seen that anywhere ever. So I was actually, I wish I had a video of a camera on my face. I was so shocked. I looked, because I'm here with my brother, I looked at my brother like, what is happening? So that's one thing. Secondly, the vibe. So I think it's preferable to watch like a comedy TV movie and then just experience it, because people will be clapping at some point, they are saying oh at some point, they are laughing at some point, and it's just like the crowd creates the vibe, so you actually enjoy it so much. Nah, Jamaica has a time, and especially cinema, so make sure you go to the cinema if you're ever in Jamaica.
Fast food. This is not necessarily a good thing, but let me tell you something. Up to this day, Cuba doesn't have any fast food restaurants. So if you don't love KFC, we don't even have to ask that. Me not say we don't love KFC. There was no Burger King, no McDonald's, no KFC, no Wendy's. None of them things there never existed in a Cuba, and up to this day, them no they in a Cuba. I am not a fast food fan, never been. But when I arrived to Jamaica, I used to go to Burger King because my husband used to love it. It was just fascinating to me, these big chains of restaurants that people will line up to go eat the food at. Number 2, ID. Mister, when me reach Jamaica, me want to do road with my passport in a me bag. I felt so naked. I felt like something was missing. Because in Cuba, if you don't walk on the road with your ID on you, they give you a 500. Well, back then, now the Cuba I used to live back in 2000s, you used to get a 500 Cuban peso ticket if you never had your ID on you. So every time I go in on the road, and even to this day, my cousin came visit me and he wanted to go on the road with his passport. I said, no, you can leave it at home. He's like, are you sure? What if the police stop me? And I said, listen, if the police stop you and you are not driving, nobody is going to ask you for your ID. So that was a shocker for me to know and just find out, say, citizens could just roam freely without any form of identification on them, and it was okay. Number three, pan chicken. In Cuba, we had a like custom that people will sell like fish fillet and some sort of fry stuff on the roadside and small pizzas that we call bambinas. But nobody ever did sell no chicken on the roadside. And then to see how this chicken was so well seasoned, and they cook it inside of a drum that they cut in half, and people like the best pan chicken man was over by Red Hills Road, and people will come from all over to go to that man, go eat the chicken there. Me not eat chicken anymore, but let me tell you, I have very good memories in my taste bud from that pan chicken there. Number four, how everything in a Jamaica is big. When me come out of the airport and me touch road and then me reach my mother-in-law yard, everything was big. The house they look big to me. The cups them were huge. The plates look big. Everything was like I was coming from Thumbrella world into the giant in a Jags and the Beans story. Everything in Jamaica looks so big to me, and in Cuba up to this day, the thing them a Cuba little. Them thing them a Cuba little. And the number five cultural shock that I experienced when I moved to Jamaica from Cuba was how Jamaicans are shameless. You see, in Cuba we shame for everything. Remember the first time my husband went to my yard in Cuba, and my grandmother was like, "Tell him to eat, tell him not to have no shame, you know." And I said, "Grandma, this man no have no shame." Because in Cuba, when somebody asks you, "Oh, you can come and join us for dinner," people will say no. They could be starving, and it could be like 3 days since them don't eat nothing at them yard, and they will tell you, "No, it's okay, I'm full," and all of this because of shame. Shame them a shame if you come here and come eat, and you find out say them hungry. So Jamaicans to me, they were very straightforward, and nobody never hide anything, and nobody never apply any filters because of shame. And that thing that is a very commendable behavior, because you have to be honest. If you're hungry, you're hungry. You understand what I'm saying? These are the five biggest cultural shocks I suffered as a Cuban moving to Jamaica. Number one, throwing the toilet paper in the toilet. Cuba is a very different place right now, but back in my days, you couldn't do that. First of all, we didn't even add toilet paper. We did use newspaper, and then you have the little basket beside the toilet, and then you would have put the paper in there. So me did put the toilet paper in the basket, and my mother-in-law yard by mistake couple times. Number two, meat. When I went to Jamaica, I went to live with my mother-in-law, and she did have a helper. So the helper would have cook. And the first time I see the helper cooking, I swear I said they might keep a welcome party for me. And I was like, oh my God, it looked like I missed the notice that they're keeping a welcome party. And then when dinner time come, me see everybody I share them plate, and I'm like, no party, no I keep again. And I asked my husband, and I said, you know I keep party or something? He said, no, why you are asking? I said, but me I see a pot full of meat in the stove. Like, what is that? And he said, no, that is how we cook here. I'm like, excuse me? You see, in my Cuba, the one that I was coming from, we cook a little tiny piece of meat, and it's counted per person. Let's use an example of a chicken very quick. My family will slaughter a chicken at home. We take part of the chicken to make soup. That will be the 2 foot, the neck, and the intestines. The soup will be one meal. Another meal will be the leg and thigh them. And another meal will be the breast and the chicken back. 3 meals, 3 different meals out of one chicken. Me never adjust to them abundance them there. I was shocked. Number three, it was the lack of public display of love. You see, in Cuba, people are kiss, people are hug, people are make out, people are fill up one another in a public. People sometimes even in a public. And most time, I did have to find myself holding back when I was in public with my husband. And every time, like if I kissed him or anything, I just felt like everybody was like, "What are you doing? Get a room." You know, it was very uncomfortable. And 21 years later, after practicing that, I have found after visiting Colombia and Brazil, which are places where people do that, just like in Cuba, I feel like, boy, me really miss out in hug and kisses. Number 4, Jamaicans bathe a morning time. In Cuba, nobody no do that. I am not saying it's because we are nasty people, but because we don't really have the resources, we don't have the water, we don't have soap, we bathe 2 times for the day. So in a Cuba, it's normal for a man to wake up a morning time, wash him face, and a woman wake up a morning time and she wash her face and she wash her and go about them business. Number 5, and this was one of the biggest adjustments I had to make. It was wearing a brassiere and just changing my general way of dressing. Jamaicans' way of dressing, Jamaicans' style is impeccable. I have been to many different countries and I have never seen anybody who dresses as well as a Jamaican does. And I am so glad and thankful that I adopted that type of that part of the culture, because my IG name is Flor Cubana, that style, thanks to Jamaica. I literally went to Jamaica without a brassiere. I never did wear one to begin with. One of the first type of shopping that my mother-in-law took me to was to buy underwear. She's like, do you want to go shopping? I said, I couldn't even say yes. And she's like, let's just go buy some brassieres. My to them never did long. I was 20 years old, okay? And another thing was adjusting to the way that you dress to go to work. You see, when a Jamaican dress to go to work, it come like them a go out somebody wedding, you know. Everybody dress up. It dress up with so much taste and meticulously. I had to adjust that because in Cuba, you just wear your shorts and slippers to go at work. No matter what your line of work is, nobody know how to dress up to go at work. So I had to take time to learn that part of Jamaican culture, and it was an absolute shock to see that somebody who works in a very regular industry, meaning like this person is not a lawyer or a doctor, that they dress up to the T.
Convenience in Jamaica, those two words are not in the same line. We wanted to talk about some crazy ass to talk about some really crazy culture shocks that I noticed since moving from the UK to Jamaica 1 year ago. I thought my class started at 3, so now I'm in a wait. I mean, while I'm here though, there is no such thing as Dettol wipes. So, Dettol wipes, like the cleaning wipes. I've gone into supermarkets and asked for like cleaning wipes, Dettol wipes. Nobody knows what the heck I'm talking about. That was a mad thing to me because that's like staple. We ain't got Dettol wipes, we got some sort of wipes for cleaning. So what am I supposed to clean with? Sponge and flipping Fabuloso. You know, in wintertime, our clocks go back, so it starts getting dark mad early. But from 5 p.m, lights out. Lights out. You see it start getting dim, you blink, it's dark. Uber Eats, it's not a thing. There is something called 7 Crave. You need to plan to be hungry. Excuse me, that food is taking 2 hours minimum to get to you. If you want to order food, you need to make sure that you are ready to be hungry at 8. So you better order at 6. I don't know if it's rude to just roll into the class an hour late. It's better than not turning up. There's no corner shop or anything open past 7 basically. Anything like supermarket, them things are locked off by a certain time. Especially on a Sunday, nothing is open late. Because if you're hungry on a Sunday night, you're starving till Monday morning, I'm telling you that. Everything comes down to convenience and there's none of that in Jamaica.
I've had my first culture shock in Jamaica today. Excuse the sweaty face, I've just finished my workout, just came out of the gym. So, I've never had a culture shock in Jamaica before. I'm used to Jamaican culture. Let me tell you the story. I was called to the principal's office to discuss my attire. The lady goes to me, Mum, I need to send you the school dress code. What's that? School dress code? Well, the girls are okay, the uniforms are fine. What's going on? She goes, no, parents' school dress code. I was like, what? Moral to the story, I go to school wearing my gym wear. Not like this. Obviously, I always have a t-shirt over it, little jacket over it, or I'm always wearing leggings most of the time. 99% of the time I'm doing my school, because I work out after I do my school run. And yesterday we had a meeting with I wore a maxi dress, one shoulder, really nice dress actually, one shoulder, a bodycon. I've got a body on me, so the dress is tight, yes, but it was, you know, nothing was on show apart from my shoulder, off the shoulder, and just one side as well. Wish I could show you the dress, but I didn't take any pictures. It was long, but it was tight on my body because I have a figure. And the lady was like, oh, she wasn't rude or anything, she was very nice talking to me, obviously. And she goes, oh, but you were tired yesterday, you know.
One of the things they talked about was the people. In many countries today, it is completely normal to walk past strangers without saying a word. Everyone is focused on their phones or rushing to work. But in Jamaica, people greet each other. A simple good morning or good evening isn't optional. It is a sign of respect. That may sound like a small thing, but for many visitors, it is one of the most biggest adjustment. And it is not just greetings. Jamaicans are known for speaking their minds. If they like something, they tell you. If they don't like something, they tell you too. Some visitors described it as a shocking at first because they came from places where people often hide what they really think just to avoid conflict. But after spending time on the island, many realized that honesty can actually build a stronger relationship than fake politeness. Another thing that really caught people's attention was the pace of life. If you are coming from somewhere like London or Toronto, where every minute feels scheduled, Jamaicans can feel like another world. They phrase island time, it's just a joke. It is a lifestyle. At first, some visitors admitted it frustrated them. It frustrated them. Then they wanted everything to happen immediately. But as the day passed, they started slowing down themselves. They began enjoying conversation instead of rushing through them. They noticed people spending time with the family, laughing together, enjoying music, and appreciating life instead of constantly chasing the next deadline. And honestly, that is a lesson many parts of the world could learn. Now, let's talk about the food, because this part made me smile. Imagine expecting toast or cereal for breakfast, then someone serves you a salty fish with the fried dumplings, boiled bananas, yams, and kalalo. That is not just a breakfast, that is a feast. Many visitors admitted they were completely surprised by how filling Jamaicans' breakfasts are. But after trying them, they understood why Jamaicans take pride in their cuisines. The island's food isn't just about eating. It is about culture, family, and tradition. The roadside food culture also impressed many travelers. Grabbing some pan chicken or jerky from a local vendor became one of the most highlights of their trips. Sometimes the best meals aren't found inside the expensive restaurants, but on the side of the road, where the flavors tells the real story of Jamaica. Of course, not everyone was easy to adjust to. Several people mentioned that some conveniences they enjoyed back home simply weren't available. 24 hours supermarkets, instant food deliveries, or finding a certain household product wasn't always possible. Transportation was another adjustment. Shared taxis where several passengers ride together felt unusual for newcomers, and in some areas, having your own vehicle becomes almost essential. But interestingly, these challenges didn't make people dislike Jamaica. Instead, they made the experience feel more authentic. One of the most powerful moments in this compilation was when travelers said Jamaica isn't the perfect parasite shown in travelers' brochure. Yes, the beaches are beautiful. Yes, the mountains are breathtaking. But they also saw everyday life, hardworking people, and community facing real challenges. Instead of ruining their experience, that honest made visitors appreciate Jamaica even more because they weren't just seeing a vacation destination. They were seeing a really country filled with a really people. Another thing that stood out was Jamaican's pride. Everywhere you look, you see the black, green, and gold flag. You hear a reggae and a dance hall. You feel the influence of legend like Bob Marley and sprint icon like Usain Bolt. Jamaica don't wait for others to celebrate their culture. They celebrate it every single day. And that is something many visitors admired. The pride wasn't forced. It was a natural. It came from knowing who they are and where they came from. Watching these stories reminded me that culture shock isn't always negative. Sometimes it is exactly what we need. Sometimes stepping into another culture helps us question habits we have accepted for years. Maybe working non-stop isn't the only way to live. Maybe greeting strangers creates stronger communities. Maybe slowing down isn't laziness. It could actually be healthier. Jamaicans may be a small island, but once again, it's proof that its greatest export isn't just music, athletics, or food. It is a way of living that leaves a lasting impression on people from all over the world. After hearing these experiences, it is easy to understand why so many visitors came to Jamaica expecting a whole day, but it leaves with the lesson they will carry for the rest of their lives. If you enjoyed this reaction, let me know in the comment section. What would be the biggest culture shock for you if you visited Jamaica? And if you already been there, share the experience that surprised you the most. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next reaction. Thank you for watching. Let me meet you in the next reaction.